All right, folks, that was a little mishap, but that's fine. I'm going live, so we're starting now. So let's go ahead and switch the screen back. It's the first time I've been live in a while, but I've got a brand spanking new toy. Let me just show that to you real quick. And let's see, where will that be? Probably right here. This is my new Helix LT. Really excited to have this. I guess you guys can see that. It's going to overlay my little donator thing here, but that's fine. But yeah, I just got this about 3 weeks ago. I've been about 9 days, just about every day working on it, and really excited about it. Let me check let me monitor my audio. Oh, good. Looks like we got audio. I'm actually using the built-in microphone with my iMac, so I'm not setting up any recording, microphone or anything like that. But that's fine. So that I can just get this started. I've already been working on this for like almost an hour, getting all this stuff set up. So what I'm going to do tonight is I've been wanting to do this for a while, is recreate some of the tones from my 11 rack on my Helix and see how close they compare in sound, see how close they compare in tone and feel and different things like that. And so what I've got is I'm going to use, probably need to change here to streaming mode, or scene mode, I guess. It's not what I'm looking for. Probably need to do that. I don't remember how to get scene mode on here. It's been a while, like I said, since I've used Streamlabs OBS. But anyway, let's just go ahead and get on into this. So I've got the Helix Native set up, all right? So if I go to Helix Native over here, not Native, I keep wanting to call it Native. It's not Native. It is Helix HX Edit. Okay, so I've got that set up. I'm going to be using that to kind of show you around what I'm going to be tweaking. And then if we need to, we'll go back to the actual webcam for the Helix so you can see what's going on right here. All right. So without further ado, let's check on what we're going on. Oh, also, so that you can see my 11 rack, I've got the 11 rack editor on and enabled. Okay. So the first tone I'm going to work on, as you can see, it should be showing up right there, that Sig Solo. Okay. So that's what I'll be working on at first, because that's my main tone that I've used for the last 3 or 4 years I've had my 11 rack. I just keep coming back to this tone. And what I'm going to do is going to try to recreate this tone and make it available as a preset somewhere. I haven't decided where yet. There's all kinds of platforms to do that with. But what I'm going to do is just kind of work on that today. As you can see, I've already made a kind of a preset already. So I've already got some of this stuff set up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually copy that and paste it to another preset so that if I tweak that, I won't have to worry about tweaking, the original that I kind of set up. And that was the output that you heard me hit over here accidentally. So I'm going to grab my guitar and we're going to get started with this, all right? Okay. So what I thought I would do is actually record a little snippet of the 11 rack sound. I'm going to turn on my foot pedal in here so I can control it with that. Actually, I can control it with that up there, but anyway, with the Helix editor. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in the 11 rack plug. In just a second. I'll mute that so you won't hear any buzzing. I guess you'll still hear it with the microphone, but oh well. At least you won't hear it direct. Alright, now let's see what it sounds like. First of all, let me get my tater going because I haven't played this in a little while. How about we bring up the 11 rack editor so I can see what's going on here. And if you get bored, just fast forward this, because don't just completely drop off. You might learn something good from this. Because there are some, technical things that have to be taken care of in the front end, mainly like finding out if I'm live on YouTube and all this other stuff. So I've got to make sure, see if that's actually coming through. Hopefully, I'm actually trying to record using, not record, but live stream using Restream. And I don't see that it's posted on YouTube or anything. I'm hoping this will work. Really hope it works, because I don't want to do this again. That would be terrible. It says I'm live. I don't know where it's going to. Let me check real quick. Let me check Twitch, because I want to make sure that I'm actually live here. So, like I said, fast forward through this. If this is boring or anything like that, there's just a little bit of a housekeeping that needs to be taken on first. Okay, we are live. Good. I'm not seeing. Oh, wait a second. Okay. I'm not seeing anything live on YouTube yet, which is weird. I've got it programmed to go to YouTube. Says I'm online, so it's got to be shown somewhere. There it is. Okay, I am live. All right, so it wasn't showing up there. Hopefully I can see everybody in the chat. I'm not sure about that, so I'm not gonna. Let's see. Probably not gonna be a whole lot of people on tonight anyway. I don't have a whole lot of time, so. Go ahead and view this. I've got it on Twitch and on YouTube, but I'm only going to be answering like probably, I guess I could check both of these to make sure. Tell you what I'll do, I'll stack both of these. One of these is not muted, it's that. Okay. So I definitely want to check chat and different things like that. You should do another interview video, Base Freak says. Loud and clear on YouTube. Thanks so much for letting me know about that. I'll be monitoring both of the chats. We'll try to anyway. Like I said, I'm using Streamlabs OBS, so I can't really monitor a lot of chat stuff that I'm not that familiar with it, and it's a lot of technical headache. So let's go ahead and get out of tuner mode here. Probably a little too much loud and clear. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop that output here, the output volume. Let's see. Let's do this. That's input 2. So let's go to input 2. Drop it just a hair. Okay. Very nice sound. This has, if we look on there, it has the 11 regulator has the distortion on. If I turn that off, seems a little deeper and a little muddier than what I remember. But I haven't played the Soldano in a while. Not Soldano, but I haven't played the 11 record in a while. that's A1. That's my patch there. And then my Soldano lead, which I'm not too happy with. This is my main, kind of tone. Really like that sound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little bit. There's without distortion. Just a little more bite there. And let's look at all these settings, compare them with a Helix, and see if we can kind of recreate that. Before I forget, what I want to do now is I want to go to the Helix, and I want to copy my Soldano here, go to the new preset, and paste that. Yes, I want to overwrite that, and I will rename that SIG SLO 11R. What's the word? Clone. Oh, I can't go that far. Okay. SIG SLO 11R. I don't know what I mean. So this is the rig we're going to work on. It's right here. So I double click that and it goes straight to that. Okay. All right. But for now, take a look at the 11 rack editor. Okay. So what I'm also going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to QuickTime. I've got the audio recording already loaded up. I'm going to actually record just a little bit without distortion, a little bit with distortion so I can hear what's going on. And I'm going to leave it on just leave it on the humbucker setting with the neck pickup. That's the hard thing about getting this right, is hearing the tone. I want to get it in the kind of like a ballpark thing, but we'll see what we can come up with here. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and record, see what we can come up with. Maybe a little solo stuff, and this is going to be, what I say, without? Yeah, it's going to be without distortion for right now. And then I'll get distortion going on. Here we go. Okay, now I've got that to play around with. I don't know if you guys will even hear it. But as I'm working on the settings for the Helix, I can actually listen to that. So I don't have to keep unplugging and plugging back in and listen to all these different things. We're just going to go with kind of like a baseline deal. Hopefully that recorded. It's kind of acting like it's freezing, which I don't like that. Okay. There it goes. Let's see if we can hear this. That don't sound good at all. Let's try it again, another recording. Make sure my settings are right. I meant to go to Evo, which is not audio interface. Okay, that's probably going to work better. Quality. That's probably going to clip. So let's pull the input down just a little bit more, just for the sake of that recording. Okay. Now let's try it again. Same deal. Just working on playing some other, miscellaneous tones. Turn the distortion off first, and then we'll go ahead and record. See what that sounds like. It's a little low. For our purposes, it might work. That'll work. Except now everything else is blown out of proportion. So I'm just going to redo that about 67. If I need to, I've got it. So now let's unplug the 11 rack input. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it on tuner so I don't accidentally bump it or something, mess it up. And let's plug in the HX, or the Helix LT, and get a big old loud crack from that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and mute the EVO and go to the, actually the EVO I need to listen to now. Okay, that is way high, so input 1 needs to come way down. Actually, it's not that it needs to come down here, it needs to come down on the Streamlabs. Okay, that sounds better. Let's check out the chat real quick. Nothing new. Alright, we're good. So let's go down to now. We kind of want to copy what's on the 11 rack, right? So, actually I have to take this off tuner now. That's alright. Let's take the tuner off. And now we can see what we got. Alright, so first of all, here, I'm going to start with my input. I've got a gate on here. Just the standard default threshold. And that's it. That's all that's on there right now. I need to go to, yeah, okay, so you guys to see me. Let me put me over here and move this out so you can see my actual guitar. How's that? Alright, so we got that now. So, if we look at the, I'm just going to kind of compare notes here. First of all, when I do this preset, if I go straight to the preset, I have the distortion is on. So we're going to look at that alongside the native. And I've got my volume pedal on the native here. Okay. Can't see my mouse cursor on there, which is aggravating. Let's see if there, you should be able, there. Okay, now I've got a main display on, so you should be able to see that. So I've got anyway, you just have to, oh my goodness, I hate this. I have to hide everything just so I can see what's going on. Okay, now we should be able to see most of this, all right? Get that off there. Don't know what that is. All right, so hopefully we can see this now. Let's do one more thing. There we go, okay. So for you, by the way, for you guys in YouTube, that's brand new. We'll just go ahead and show this. This logo here, this avatar, I'm going to be posting that very soon, kind of doing a rebranding thing, or at least updating all my photo shoots, and this is going to be one of those. So you see that here first, okay? I had my graphic designer actually redo one of the images that I've used for the longest of my profiles. I'm going to be changing it to this one. But anyway, back to what I was doing. I'm just going to do it main display again, I guess. Okay, so 11 rack editor. And let's compare notes. Okay, so we have a compressor on here. Here I see no compressor. So that's the first thing that I noticed. There's no compressor, which is kind of odd. I thought they would be. So we're going to leave that one off. We don't need the compressor. Then we're going to go over here to the distortion. Now I've already got the distortion to Scream 808, but let's look at the settings here. Okay. And that is coming before the amp. Here's the signal flow here, the signal flow here. So we have, oh, actually there is a compressor. Bingo, there's a compressor right there. So I'll have to go to that here in just a second. We'll get to that in a minute. So overdrive here is about, let's see, can I see it on the 11 rack? I can actually press and hold, and I should be able to see that. No, that's right. I can't do that like that. I have to actually hold the button. Anyway, we're going to call that, what is that, about 2.5, 2, something like that. The gain here, we're going to put it on just above 2. Let's go to 2.2. Tone, I like to keep it about, I'll call that 7. That's what I got it here, I guess. Just kind of like, you know, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11. Now how does this go? Goes to 10. So we'll call it 7.5. Why not? 7.5. Level is just above straight up and down. So if we call it 5, we'll go to about 6. Okay. Then we've got, and that one stays on. Then we've got, let's go back to the compressor. So if I put that on, this compressor is, threshold is 28.1, here it's 38.7, and these may work differently, I'm not sure. Here's a deluxe comp, I don't know how any of that works compared to this, so that you know, it may be the LA Studio comp, maybe that's an image of that one. Peak reduction, no, I don't see that. Press limit, mix, level, emphasis. Mix, Rochester, threshold ratio, attack, release, knee. The one I had was the deluxe, threshold ratio, attack, release, mix, knee. At the same thing, looks like. Except this one, it doesn't have a gain. Whereas that one does. Let's just try the Rochester. So we have gain is at 0 here. Let's say what happens. Well, I can't really tell what happens there. So if I put that at 0, let's go threshold 28. .1. Attack 271. Which doesn't help me. That's milliseconds. So that's not helping me there. Release is 121 milliseconds. It's a fairly slow release, or quick release. Attack, I don't know, because I'll just tell you what, I'll go by what is on the, I'll go by what is on, what it looks like on the knob. The knob looks at about, what is that, about 11 o'clock. So if we go like middle of 5, go back to about 4. So attack, let's go down to about, let's go to 5. No, let's go to 4. Knee ratio is 4, basically 4 to 1. 4.5 to 1. Then we got a knee, 6.3. Okay, I'm going to save that because I want to try something real quick. Where's the save button at? Well, I know where it is on the rig here, so I'll just press save there. And we'll call that saved. So the one thing I wanted to do was check the compressor here. If I change this and go back, if anything changes. So we got threshold at negative 28.1. Let's keep an eye on that. Now everything's reset. Okay, so this one, the attack has bigger milliseconds. So according to the attack over here, I've got 271. And we don't want near that. So about the same thing. So if I do 4.1, I'm going to go back to that Rochester comp. First of all, let's go out of that preset, back to that preset. Since I saved it, it's back where we had it, okay? So we got the compressor now, it's on. After that, we've got the amp itself. So let's see the amp. This is the Solo Lead Crunch, okay? So the drive is at about 8.5. A little too much drive, if you ask me. Bass is at 7. Mids is at 3. Trebles at pretty much 7. A master volume is at 10. Cranked. Presence is at a little under 7, so about 6.8 if there's a presence on. Yeah, 6.8. And there's a bright switch. This does not have a bright switch, but I learned a cool trick from John Cordy, and he used on his demo of the SLO on the Helix. He used just a simple EQ. So if I go to EQ and we go to simple EQ and put it, crud, no. Can I undo that? Yes, good. So here, simple EQ, and what he did was he bumped the frequency, the mid frequency. He put it at about 2K, I think. That's what I want to say, 2K. And he bumped it about 3 decibels. I'm going to leave that off for now. That will be my quote-unquote bright switch, okay? So back to this. There's a hum, a sag. I've got the sag low because according to the manual, I think it said that the sag, the lower it is, the tighter it is. It gives you more of that modern, kind of modern metal sound. It's really tight. So I can play around with these a lot and see what I like on that. The thing that I'm really curious about is the actual cabinet. Okay, so if you look on here, we've got the SLO-100 Crunch, and that's what I've got over here, the Lead Crunch. Here we've got the 4x12 green 20 watt. Here I've got a 4x12 XXL V30. So let's see if I can find a 4x12 green 20 watt. Four by 12. Greenback 20. That's it right there. That's the Celestian model. So that's what I was using. I'm not sure if that's what this is paired with. This does not have a Soldano, one that it pairs with it. I'm pretty sure it was paired with one of these down here. This one usually comes paired with the Soldano lead here. Emissary, I think is what's called, that EM. But we're going to try doing this. Now, The mic I've got is Ribbon 121, and that's what it's here. I don't have a distance feature here. That basically has to do with, you know, you can pull it back if you want a little bit more. I think it's if you want more brights, because you get that, oh, what's that called? That proximity effect. If it's the mic is closer, it's going to sound a lot boomier and woofier. When you pull it back, it doesn't sound so much. So we might adjust the distance. From what I'm finding out, the cab has a lot to do with the tone when you want to tweak it here. And so does these 4 or 5 parameters down here, the sag, hum, ripple, bias, and bias X. So we're going to go with that 4x12 greenback. It doesn't have a low cut. It doesn't have any of that. Early reflections, it doesn't have any of that. It has a level. The one thing that this does not have, the Helix that I found, that the 11 rack does, obviously it doesn't have a speaker breakup, I don't think, but it doesn't have an on axis and off axis, okay, axis. So I don't know how I'm going to recreate that. That's the one thing that I'm kind of curious about. My guess is it's going to be more of an EQ thing. So what I could do is kind of see what I've got, switch that on axis, off axis thing on and off, and see if it's giving me more mids, more, you know, treble, anything like that. And rather than adding an EQ, just go into these settings, like the distance, the low cut, the high cut, the reflections, all that. Maybe some of the sag, hum, and all this other stuff on the bottom, and try to recreate that. Okay, now obviously I can probably get even much better tone with the Helix, but what I've been able to do so far with this preset, I haven't been able to come close to what I was hearing before. It was a little bit more bright. And I'll give you a tip real quick. When I was doing the Helix and kind of getting to know it and everything, I was plugging in my headphones and I was listening to headphones, all right? To me, everything sounded really dark. And I was kind of worried that I was going to have this, you know, not be able to fix a lot of stuff. But then when I plugged it into my computer, which is what I'm used to listening to my 11 rack on, everything brightened up. And that was a huge crack of thunder. I thought I heard an electric hum. We had a lightning crackle, sounds like. But so if this cuts out, you'll know what happened. Hopefully it won't. But so yeah, everything sounded a little bit better and more brighter. All right, so let's continue on. We have an EQ after this. It's a parametric EQ, and so I may or may not need that. So I'm going to add that here. Parametric. Let's see what we've got. We've got the gain here on the low frequency is -14. Holy cow. Low gain is -14, which we don't have here. So we're just going to take it down a little bit. -8. Why not? And the frequency is 11. $112.5. 112.5. So 112. I'll just say 113. Bring that down. A Q is going to be 4.9. I don't know how this is going to sound when we're done with this, guys. Then we have the low mids. So we have the gain already pulled down. Low mid, which is 5.9 negative. That's the gain. Let's just go with that. 5.9. Frequency is 327.8. $327.8. Pow. 328. Q is 6.2. Q. These are some high Qs here. High frequency. Now this says a high mid and then a high, but there's nothing here. There's no gain. There's no raising or lowering or any of that. So we have, there's a shelf here, there's a Q, but nothing has been added to that. So I don't have any high gain. Even though the frequency of the Q is there, it doesn't mean anything if there's no level difference happening. I do not have a low cut. That's what this low frequency is actually acting as. It's acting as a low cut. I may change these, the low cut and the high cut later, depending on what it sounds like. Okay, so we have the EQ now. I'm going to leave that on since it's on the 11 rack. Now I've got some chorus here. I've got two different kinds. Well, there's a retro reel. That's to mainly kind of fill it out a little bit. And I've also got the actual chorus that I was using, which is just a regular stereo chorus. I like the way it sounds. I don't think I'm going to worry about if it sounds exactly like this or not. For example, let's just get an idea of what it looks like here. The rate, speed. This is 0.7 seconds. There is a low cut on this. I don't see it on the actual thing here. There's a spread, 100% width. Pre-delay is 10 milliseconds. And I don't know if this is going by seconds or milliseconds here. Mix is 50%. Here it's 43. 6 voices. So it's a different kind of thing. There's probably all kinds of other courses we could use. 70s chorus, plastic chorus. But I like the way this one sounds. So we're just going to go with that for now. Probably the closest I can think to off the top of my head is a Trinity chorus because it's got 3 voices, I think. This one has 6. But like I said, I like the way it sounds, so I'm just going to leave it like this. This, once again, is to kind of make it kind of sound a little bit more finished, polished. Rather than adding a compressor at the end, this kind of is kind of like the glue that Jason Sadites, he's a real big Helix guy on YouTube, he talks about adding the glue. And now we can do that with the retro reel, which is a type of modulation. It's going to be found in the modulation. So we can do that now in there instead of having to add a compressor at the end, which he may still do. I don't know. Okay, so we've got this. The next thing was the delay, which I'm good with what I've got. It sounds okay. This is a dual delay. Here I've got a crossover, and it's just got that back and forth kind of sound. One side is like 8th notes and the other side is quarter notes or something like that. So I've just got 2 different levels here. They have a different sound so that there's something different on each side. I'm not really caring about the ratio of left to right. There's a left feedback, there's a right feedback, a left mix, all this stuff. I don't really mess with that a lot. The high cut here is 1.2 kilohertz. That's a, wow, this is 15 kilohertz. Let's go ahead and save this again, by the way. What did I say? 15? High cut is 1.2 kilohertz. Here it's 15. Why have I got it so rolled back all the way down to 1? That don't make sense. We're going to undo that. I'm just going to leave the high cut where it is. We'll change it if we need to later. Low cut 528, I think, 26. Low cut's all the way over here. This is before I guess I knew about EQ. I don't know, maybe it's standard. There's an envelope mod that you can use to make it like a ducking delay. There's a mix is 23%. The mix here, that's 20% on all the mixes, looks like, which is fine. Feedback 53%. Feedback 30%. We'll hear what it sounds like later. Okay. I mean, that's all right for me. Then I got a reverb, which is just a standard. It says studio reverb here. There's all these different kinds here. So what is this reverb? It says Hall. I don't see a studio here anywhere. That's the Legacy. If I go to stereo, dynamic, glitz, we could go to, you know, whatever. I think most of these are actually mono, and we want a stereo, so I may want to change that. So let's go ahead and change it to stereo, because that's what the effects that I want. Let's just make it dynamic hall, I guess. I'll change that later. Just leave everything here. I can change all this other stuff later. Oh, by the way, here is the lead. I've actually got the Solo lead overdrive. Now, like I said earlier, I've got the My Soldano lead or whatever, My Foley lead that I changed it to. I can actually change that right now on the 11 rack. You can see My Soldano lead. Okay, and that's the actual amp is going to be the drive section. Okay, I don't like the way it sounds right now, so I'm not going to try to mimic that on here. But just to give you a good idea of what I've got here, we have, this is the drive kind of set up and all the different treble on presence and all that. And I'm not sure if I'm exactly, comfortable with it, like this one either. I do have a different cabinet. I may end up trying to go with the greenbacks here too. Not exactly sure, but that's what that is. Okay, and if I go quickly to, I'm going to save this. If I go quickly to, let me get my other shot in here and show you the webcam. Oh, wait a minute, why is that on there twice? I don't know. If I go to this one and kind of hide myself here, there we go. You can see my setup right here. So I've got this different snapshots here, and you just press and hold these two buttons to enable your snapshots. The first one says SLO clean, second one is SLO dirt, third one is SLO lead. And if you see that on, let's see, the 11 rack editor, you can see that right up here. There's my different snapshots I can go to. Okay, so let's see what these snapshots do, what they look like. Okay, so the first one is the clean. All right, so here's what's enabled with the clean. The EQ is on here, so we're going to leave that on there. This is kind of like the bright switch. I'm just going to leave that off. The compressor is on. Everything that's on here is going to be on here. Okay, so modulation is not on. I don't have it on, so I'm not going to leave it on. This one is not on. Okay, we have delay and reverb, so we're going to go with that. And that's, the first snapshot. The second one, actually, that should have been the dirty one. Clean, clean actually is the one with the distortion off. Okay, same thing as I was doing earlier when I turned that distortion off. So the dirty one, it's going to have distortion on. Okay, we don't need that on yet. I notice this amp is still off. We still have the compressor on. All this other stuff's still on. Okay, the only difference is we're just going to turn a distortion on. And for the lead, distortion stays on. Once again, we do not do that. And this changes to this. As a matter of fact, I might want to go ahead and move this EQ down here so that it actually has, let me cut that, put it down here, so that when this is off and I'm on a different snapshot, this amp may be off, but it's still filtering. It's going down the path, the 2 here, still filtering through that AQ. So that's what I'm going to do with that. Okay, so now, this looks like this might be the save button here. Save. Okay, good. There is a save button. All right, so now we got that. I'll go back to clean, and it changes as if it's not saved because of that. So let's listen to what, once again, the QuickTime version sounded like. With that would be the dirty channel. Oh no, that would be both actually. So I'm gonna go back to QuickTime, see if we can hear some of this. And right here I changed to the add distortion. All right, having heard that, let's hear what we got now. Alright, here we go. This is SLO clean. Forgot that was a little loud there. Really loud. Clipping, that's why. Much different than what we have here. Okay, so I don't know how I'm gonna fix that, but anyway, let's go to let's add the distortion here. See what we got. A lot different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this EQ off. Alright, see what's going on with that. And take off the distortion. Leave that on. Let me go back to the right channel here. That's what is this amp doing? Could have been the compressor. Sound of the amp. Back to QuickTime. See, I like the attack I'm getting. I like the attack that I'm getting with the 11 rack. I'm just not getting it here. And let me check one more time. Anything on the chat? No. Okay, so nobody is there again. All right, so that's all right. Go back to I've got so many things open. So, what are we going to do to fix this? I have no idea just yet. Once again, it could be a cabinet issue. So if I go back to what I had it on, which was this one. Or the one that came with it. To me, all three of those sound terrible. I don't know why. But I'll just have to figure out. All right, so if I go back to this greenback, let's see, that was a ribbon. So what happens if I go to the dynamic? To me, the amp sounds hairy. It sounds really fuzzy, and that's without the distortion here. So what I'm going to do is just completely remove this amp and add it again. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bypass it, and I don't think I can add another amp. Might be able to. I can't do the Soldano because it's just too much DSP. So, tell you what we'll do is we'll go ahead and remove it, and then add it again. Amp plus cab, and we'll go back to Soldano Crunch. Everything is just stock now. Let's see what we get. There's no, turn this EQ off, that EQ's off, no distortion, a little bit of compression. Let's see what it sounds like. Turn the compressor off. To me, that sounds a little muffly. Threshold, knee. Maybe that I got too high of a knee. Set it down a little bit. Attack. Bring it down. Ratio 4.5 threshold. Should be able to see on my meter here. So if I show you, it doesn't have it on here, I don't think, unless there's just something I'm missing. But window, center global EQ. I don't see any meters. Okay, so if I go back down to my webcam, you might be able to see it right here. And my webcam is froze. Give me just a second. There we go. More technical difficulties. Great. Okay, so there's a leveler right here, a little level. You can probably see that happening right there. It's giving me about 3 to 4 decibels of gain reduction. Once again, the gain is not happening here. So what we want to do is make the gain even when it comes out. I don't want that. Maybe the level needs to come down a little bit instead of the gain. Down to about 5. That's about right. Okay, now that was with the Rochester comp. With the Deluxe, it might sound a little different. Okay, so once again, though, we have just the amp by itself and the EQ that we kind of added with the parametric thing. Which does brighten it up, kind of makes it lower in volume. Now what about this one? This would be the effect of a kind of a bright switch. I don't really hear any difference myself. So let me go ahead and close that out. You haven't been able to see that. That was the bright switch I was talking about. This EQ would kind of act like that. Nothing really happens there. I might change something a little different. Instead of that frequency being 2, I might jump it at, let's see. Yeah, maybe about 2. And 2.8. It gives a little bit more brightness. I kind of like that. Now if we go back down here, once again, the drive was kind of cranked up on the other one. The master was cranked up. This is kind of everything at default. So I kind of like more of a clean sound. So I might want to brighten that up with that. That brightens it up quite a bit with the tube screamer. But to me it's kind of bassy, so what I might do is go to the cab And change the cab once again to a greenback. Okay, so let's get a low cut in there. Let's go to about 120. It's a little muffly. High cut, maybe about 12. A little higher than what they got it. Maybe just a little bit of reflections. Level, mic, it's dynamic. Let's go back to that 121. And let's play with some of that. I think it sounds a little bit crisp, a little bit more crisp further back. What about 57? Still a little fuzzy. I don't know where that hiss is coming from, that just fuzziness. But the mic sounds better with a little bit of a broader dynamic mic. We can go with that. Let's try to EQ some of this out. The bass is still a little much, so let's bring that down. Mids, boost those to about 6. Treble we can bring down to about 5.5 while boosting a little presence. 6.5 on there. Channel volume. Master, this has a lot to do with the other ones, according to the manual. The lower the master, the less effect these are going to have. The sag, hum, ripple, delete, and all that. I guess I need to change the actual what you're seeing on your screen because you can't see my mouse with that. So here we have the master actually will affect the rest of these. Okay, so if your master's all the way down, you're not going to hear much of an effect with this. So all this kind of depends on how much master you got. So I'm going to take the master and bring it down a little bit. And bring it up. So it's got a little bit more tube saturation like that. So let's bring it up a little bit more. With the standard paired cab there. What I would usually do is just find the one that sounded the best for me. And that one is not. Okay, so there's a 4x10 here. 6x10. The cab could brighten it up. We could just go from there. Cali sounds pretty good. Let me check something else. Let me just go to Streamlabs and see if I can get another audio source and make it the Helix. That would be the USB. Can I do that? Let's see, Helix audio right there. And right here I'm seeing it. So if I mute the one I've got it in, will it come through here? And if I take it off that and put it back to here, it's the same sound. Except now you're probably getting a lot more stereo. We probably need to go with that, not the actual input. Has a little bit of that, you know, character, but it's still too woofy. So let's go back and start messing around with the amp some more, okay? We're just going to stick with this solo lead cab, I guess, and mess around with some of the sag and stuff now. I wanted more of a tight response. And another thing too, I didn't think of this until now, but the auto impedance could have something to do with that. So I don't think I can change the impedance on here that I've been able to find. I'll keep that in mind. Let's see about this other stuff. Ripple, what's it do? I think it adds a little bit of mud, or just a little bit of, you know, distraction. The bass. Better. Okay. Let's save that while we got it. So again, let's add a little bit of EQ. Now, I've got a mid gain here, but I could just as easily go over here and bump the mids up just a little bit more. Let's say to about 7. But to me, that's not the same as adding another EQ. And if I go to this EQ, it kind of scoops that out a little too much. But what we could do is get the gain back to 0 dB for the low, and put on a low cut to about 100. Well, I like to start with about 120. I can get it on there just right. There we go. Oh, good enough. Try and do that. Kind of tightens it up. Okay, to me that sounds pretty good. Let's go to 140 just to make it a little bit lower. And that cleaned it up quite a bit. So that's adding this EQ. I'm going to take that off. And this is a scooped mid. Okay, so that's why some of it's clean too. So we can take that. I could just as easily put a low high cut filter on this. Okay, so I could have made it that, which is low and high cut here. If we don't need this other stuff, then I could use a little bit less DSP. We can put a high cut off because now it's a little fizzy. Going down to about 12. Okay, you go for that. Don't want any high gain. Once again, when we switch to this amp here, if I go to my lead, that needs to take that one off. There we go. Here's the crunch. This is the one that's on now, the crunch. And then I've changed to this one. All that has to do too with this cabinet, you know, it could be as easily be the other one, which is the solo lead emissary. So based on what I'm hearing, I don't know how in the world to recreate what I want to hear. But to me, it just has that spankiness to it. I like the spankiness. There's not a lot of fizz. And this is just really, I don't know, muddy or something. If I take the mids out, if I just scoop those, still got, you know, a lot of stuff going on somewhere. Can't figure it out. It's just really fuzzy. Now, if I turn on that distortion, which it's already on because it's on the lead patch, let me just change that back. That's supposed to be the lead patch. Let's just go back to the dirt. Now the distortion's on. Off. On. But to me, that Soldano should sound a little bit different. I don't know what it is because the lever rack sounds good on my system, so why shouldn't the Helix? You know what I'm saying? So not exactly sure how I'm going to work with that. I know that I need to. I'd like to get this going, get it working. So I'd like to do a lot more streams like this where I'm kind of testing the waters. And once I can finally get a good signature sound, it may not be the SLO, it may be something else. Because I know there are other amps on here that actually sound better. But from hearing other people play, now I can listen to John Cordy and listen to him play and then try to play it on my system, and it might sound completely different. I don't know why. And I may just have it not hooked up right or something. Maybe some of the global settings that I've got wrong. I don't have the global EQ on. That's not even set. Ins and outs. The pad is off. There's no, let's see. Go back to that. Volume knob controls, digital out level, sample rate. I mean, I don't see anything that could be affecting the tone. if I go to the input, up here, there's a, let's see, we're on the input gate is on, guitar impedance. Okay, here's what I was talking about earlier. Let's see if we can change that, what it does. Sounds better to me with auto on there. So I don't see anything in the input or what have you that could have anything to do with the tone sounding as weird as it does. So kind of at a loss as to what to think on this. Let me go and save this. Now let me go back to the patch that I originally had. We didn't even listen to it, I don't think. We might have. If I go back to my original patch here, let's hear the difference. We're on clean. And we go to dirt. And we go to lead, which changes the amp. Okay, and we'll go back here. Clean. Apparently has his EQ on. A lot thicker. Okay, dirt. Now it looks like this came on. Let me turn that off. That had something to do with it. I'm gonna leave that off. That already sounds better without that on. I may just have to leave that off. Let's take that off on clean too. It's already off there. Is it on the lead? It is. I don't know what we'll do with the lead. That just sounds weird. Completely weird. Like there's mid treble. Master's low. It's got to be the cab on that. I mean, it could also be this mic. But that's a lot more bright. It's a lot brighter. For me, I think this one sounds better. Just has a better sound to it. It's a little clearer, a little crisper. Okay, so back to dirt. lot of different things. I just got to work with it because it just does not make sense why I'm not hearing what I'm hearing other people play and the tones that I'm getting from other people. So I'll just have to do some more research, play around with it some more, and see what's going on. Just learn the ins and outs, read the manual. I mean, I spent days just looking over the manual and just tweaking all this stuff. Very interesting stuff. Another thing we could do real quick, and we'll just do that real quick. There is an actual Solo or Soldano setting that's factory. Okay, so let's go to the factory presets and find the SLO lead overdrive. Let's go to that one. And this one is the lead. Okay, and this is the configuration they have. They have a Cali V30. Cali V30. The mics are blended, so we have a 160 ribbon and a 57 dynamic. Now I could also do that just by adding just a cab and making it a dual. Okay, so this is single cabs. I can make it a dual and do the same thing and just change the mics up. But here's what that sounds like. After having heard what we just did, let's see what this sounds like. Where's my source for my... I hope you guys have been hearing that. I had that on here. Unhide all. Don't understand that a bit. Yeah, it's not showing my... Alright, I added an audio. Oh, that's because I changed. Yeah. The audio source has changed. I didn't add the audio source on something else. So that needs to add on. That needs to be added on everything. Okay, so let me change that real quick. There's the... Okay, yeah. That's aggravating. Anyway, let's just go back to this. I'm pretty much done anyway, guys. Hopefully you can hear all this other stuff. If it may be coming through the mics, I don't know. It's just a lot to think about, a lot to control. As you can see, they've got the delay, they've got the reverb. See if that's any closer to mine. Probably not much. It's a little bit closer. So what I may do is just take that preset and try to tweak it a little bit. Okay, so there's all kinds of configurations to make this work and to make it happen and everything, which I don't have time for tonight. So thank you guys so much for joining. Sorry for all the technical difficulties. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done a live stream, but hopefully you were able to hear everything that was going on. I really hope so, because that would be aggravating if you didn't. Okay, that sounds good. Alright, so looks like everything's good. Kaylee says, good job. Thank you, Kaylee. How are you liking the Helix? Hey, Robert. Thanks for checking me out, dude. Right now, I'm liking the ease of use, but like I said, the tones, I'm not being able to dial those in just yet, and I'm not going to resort to an hour or anything like that. Matter of fact, while I'm on here, I do want to download an hour that I have. I want to download it to the Helix, which is the best hour in the world, I think they call it. Bumblefoot actually uses that hour. He uses a combination of two different cabs going into that hour to kind of like round it out and kind of glue it together. But so far, I'm liking the Helix, liking how the different options, all these different reverbs and all the updates. Most importantly, that I could actually reamp with it, unlike the 11 rack, which you can pretty much no longer do. As the updates on Mac keep getting higher, it just can't keep up as far as the manufacturer won't put any updates on there like they're supposed to. So it was just time to get something new, something different, and something that I could not have to worry about updates and staying up to date when I needed them to. No chats on the Twitch, but that's all right. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. I get up early in the morning to go to church, so for now we're just going to kind of leave everything like it is, shut everything off, and I'll see you guys on the next video, whatever that may be. Hopefully this has turned out okay. Leave me comments below on some tips you may have for the Helix on getting that thing set up the right way, and we'll go from there. The next stream, the next video, whatever it may be. So there's a lot of things I'd like to do. I'd like to make some presets available when I start creating them, and I'd like to maybe do some videos on the Helix, and as I learn more, maybe help you guys out too. All right, so thanks so much for watching. I've been Eric Beatty, and if you like the channel, please do subscribe. Please hit that like button, hit the notification bell if you're on YouTube, so that you'll be reminded and notified whenever I go live. A lot of this stuff I don't plan, it just happens. And if you don't want to miss it, click that notification bell. All right. Check out my website, ericbeatty.com. Also, my instructional courses at ericbeatty.com/courses. And I've got a brand new course coming very soon. It's on the cusp of being released. I've just got a few more video edit things to do, and hopefully that'll be releasing very, very soon. All right, so stay tuned for that. We'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks so much for watching once again.